Hi, Ann Cornick from Paintnporcelain. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and recruit experienced painters to paint along with me. And today we're going to be doing poinsettias, but we're not going to do your grandmother's or your mother's poinsettia. We're going to do something a little more technicolor, which I think you might enjoy. On this study, by the way, while I've got it here, it's basically leaves, right? For those of us that are trying to draw it. Now I did it freehand. You could do it freehand if you just draw leaves. The center leaves, as you can see, just are basic leaves. There's nothing fancy about them. Then as we move out, one side is kind of straight, the other side's a little bit curled. And then finally, on some of these, we have them, they're indentations on both sides of the leaves. Now, wherever you see this line on the study, and there's one down here, and there's a couple up across the top, that indicates that that leaf will be green because it's actually a leaf. So you'll trace it onto your plate, or you can line draw, you can freehand it. And this is what it'll look like when you get it freehanded. And what I did was I started with the berries, and then I moved out to the smaller leaves, and then I did 3 sets of leaves, and I kind of tried to stagger them so they weren't all in the same spot. So let me show you what the final product will look like when you're done with it today, hopefully. This is the bottom 2 are first fire here. Can you see them? I did a bowl, so it's a little harder. They're kind of technicolor. And the top one I'm working on the second fire. So this is a bowl, and we're actually going to do a plate. I think it'll be easier for everybody to see. But it has every color known to man. So I am going to be using a full palette. But what you'll need is a yellow. Something that's a little bright though, not your pale, not like a Trenton Ivory or an Albert. Those are a little too pale. A mixing yellow would be good. So you need a yellow red. If you don't have yellow red, you can always mix it as long as you have red. You're going to need a light and a dark red. So my dark red is blood red because it doesn't fire out. My light red will be my yellow red. But if you have Persian, you can use that instead of blood red. That would work. I have 3 values of purple. I have a heliotrope, which is real light. I have a violet and a royal violet. And those are my 3 values of purple. And all of those I'm going to be mixing with blood red, so hang on to your hat. Also, you'll need a moss green for the leaves. I use a red grape. You don't have to use a red grape. Pink would be helpful if you have it. And then you need like a baby blue or a turquoise, of course, blue black. I love my blue black. And I'm using royal violet too. So let me show you kind of how this is going to work out. The middle leaves, the smallest leaves, I'm using a yellow and a yellow red on. Then as I go out, I start adding other colors, pinks, purples, all with blood red along with them. So I side load with the blood red, but I full load with the other color. Or I paint the leaf with the color and then put in the blood red so that they don't mix. Some of the colors don't mix very well. And then if you can see the center there is black blue, then you could use a baby blue up, oops, this side here. This side, you could use a baby blue. This is purple. So we're gonna get busy painting. But this is my full palette. Somebody asked me why I paint on a small palette. I don't. I love color. So you bet I've got my colors out all the time. So today you're going to see me dipping in a million different colors. I will tell you what I'm doing. But bottom line is there are some basic colors you need. Reds and greens and a little bit of yellow for this. Those you definitely need. Blood red or Persian would be ideal because they don't fire out. But the rest of the colors are entirely up to you in any combination that you want to put them. So you may decide you want to do an entirely red poinsettia with green leaves, the very typical poinsettia, that's fine. But I just thought it'd be fun to try this. Now, I got the idea from Pinterest, and that might be a place that you could go to see some of the watercolor poinsettias that are out there. As you know, poinsettias come in all colors. They're blue, they're yellow, they're pink, and they're red. So I thought, well, why not mix them all together? And when I was on Pinterest and saw these beautiful watercolors, that was exactly what I wanted to do. And so I sort of stole that idea and brought it over to China painting. Okay, I'm going to tilt you down and you'll be able to see what we do next. As I said, I am using a 10-inch plate because I think it'll be easier for you to see. And when we start, I've done it both ways. I've done it where I do the background first, and then I do the flower. And I've also done it where I do the flowers first, and then I do the background. I have to tell you, this is a long process. It's a beginner process, but it does take longer than the typical projects we've done. And I found that by doing the 3 poinsettias, and then taking a break and coming back and starting on the background, I actually did a better job than when I tried to do the background, because then I would have lines, if I got tired from holding it or what have you, I would have lines where I stopped and started. So I'm going to do 1 poinsettia for you and some of the background today, and then we will finish it up at the next couple sessions, okay? Now, I'm using a different brush today. And for those of you that like to know, this is Barbara Ramsey Snow's brush from Germany. It's a size 8. I'm going to do a full load of mixing yellow with a side load of yellow red. And I'm going to start with the small guys here. And go down the middle. You see what I'm doing? And then pull. So I start at the bottom, get a little color in there. I may need a little more yellow, a little less red, because I kind of overdid it with the red, okay? And then I'm going to come along one side to the tip. That's all I'm doing on these little guys. And then I might go back in and touch a little bit so you get the veins, or I might wait till next time. I would say get your color on. You can put the veins in anytime pretty much, okay? And we're going to do this guy here. So it's kind of like we did the rose leaf. You go across, touch, touch, and then you do the other side. Then you flip it, come along the side that you want the shadow on, and do the tip. And just touch a little on the other side, but leave a highlight, because you know what we said about highlights. If you don't get them on the first fire, you'll never get them on the second. Okay, this is a small one back here, but it's kind of hidden, so as you can see what I did? I took the darker color all the way up because it's going to be a little bit in shadow. And then I'll just turn it around and do the edge right here. Try to keep this smooth. And I know it's because you're chunking around here. It's not always easy to keep smooth, but try to keep things smooth. I'm going to reload. You'll find you're reloading an awful lot with this particular plate, but I think it's worth it. Oops, I need a little more yellow red there. Now the yellow red's going to fire out some, but the yellow, actually, the mixing yellow, if you use, at least my mixing yellow, is you can use it to kind of hold, it actually kind of holds the yellow red for me, so I like it. Again, I'm going to do the same thing here, so except we don't want that much red on him. Touch down the middle and put a little more yellow on it for the tip here. Bring it out. So that's what I have so far. I have one more to go. And then we come back and do the tip. Okay, so we've done 5 of them that way. How hard is that? No, it's simple. And as you can see, it's already getting pretty technicolor. Now the fun part starts. And on the second layer, the middle layer, I'm going to do some mixtures. So I don't want every one of these alike. What I'm going to do is, some are going to be violet and blood red. Some of them are going to be heliotrope and blood red. And some of them are going to be pink and blood red. Okay, let's do the violet. Let's start with the violet. I'm just side loading my violet. I'm picking one of these. I'm going to do it the same way I've done the others. Come to the center, come up, come over to the side, flip it around, and I'm going to do this just a little bit along the edge, trying to keep it nice and smooth, and the tip. Then I'm going to take my blood red, side load it right over the purple, the violet. I'm not going to, and I'm just, oops, not enough there, hang on. Okay, let me test it on my, whoops. I take that back. You have to clean your brush. I just looked at it. It was mud. Okay, so now I'm going to take my blood red, and I'm just going to, now I'm pulling it in. I'm sort of lightly pulling over the top of the other to get that color in there. Because what you don't want is a muddy color. And then I'm going to put a little bit of blood red on the end. Okay, and then down the center of this violet, I'm going to also put a couple of these little guys, and maybe on both sides. I'm sorry, violet, what did I say? The violet is on there, but in the center of the leaf, I'm going to put these little guys in. Okay, so that's a violet one. I like the heliotrope, I have to admit, the best. Let me show you the heliotrope. Ooh, don't have a lot of heliotrope here. Okay. I'm going to skip one and do the heliotrope here and just do it. Now, this one, if you want to put the blood red on it, you can. You don't have to. Can you even, yeah, I guess you can see it. It's kind of difficult though, isn't it? Then I'm going to clean. Then I'm going to come back and pick up the blood red and add a little bit of blood red at the base. And a little bit at the tip. And then I'm just going to kind of smooth things around a little. There we go. Now with this one, I think I will do a little, these little, I just tap. If the tapping doesn't work for you, you can go ahead and wait and then use a, like a liner or something, and that'll work. Okay. So I think it's about time we probably had a real poinsettia. I'm using a little bit, it's called Flesh Glow. I like that better. It's Flesh, F-L-E-S-H. I think it's from Portrait. I like it a little bit better than I like the pinks. And I'm going to skip one and come over here. And I've full loaded with the Flesh Glow, side loaded with the red. The blood red again. It's all blood red because I know blood red will not fire out for me. And I'm going back in and I'm adding more depth as I think I need it, because this guy's got to be on top. And so that's why I'm adding more depth. And then I go back in and hit a little bit of blood red and do the edge here. Okay. All right. Now, as the leaves get bigger, you may have to change to a bigger brush. I'm going to do one more with the Flesh Glow, because I really like that combination with the blood. You could use flesh, you could use pink, and I'm going to pick this small one here. Down to the middle, up the side of that leaf, and I'm pulling very lightly, gingerly, I think is the word you would use. It's just barely touching this. And then coming down to the end. Ultimately, these will have more of a red in them. Okay, I'm going to move up to a next size brush because I think I need, now, this is an 8, but you know, all brushes are different. This one is a 2/3 inch and it's a scarf brush. Okay, as we go here, maybe I'll make let's make this one just blood red. What the hey? We don't have to do everything in the other colors. And when you do blood red, you can do it a little bit brighter. Pull, pull, pull. Flip it around, pull it out on the end. Okay. So this is what I have so far. And here I might want to chunk it there. Okay. Now I'm going to do just a purple. You go, just a purple? Bah, that's going to be icky. Or maybe I'll add, no, you know what I think I'll do? I think I will do a blue-black with a side load of the blue. Let's see how that looks. Let's do it back here. Kind of interesting, huh? And then we're going to pull it forward. So you can use whatever colors you want. I like this, but I think I'm going to put a little more purple on the end of it. Make it a little more interesting. And then the leaf back here is actually a leaf. So let's do that one, and then we'll decide what color to put in front of it. So I'm taking my chartreuse, full load of chartreuse, a side load of my blood red. And if you know anything about colors, those two actually kind of go pretty well together. If you've tried them before. I need a little more blood red on here, just to add some depth to the bottom part. Then I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm just going to go with my moss green on the rest of it. Oops, am I up high enough? Here we go. Do a little of that, a little of that. Oh, I actually like the chartreuse better. I'm going to go back to the chartreuse. Yeah, that's better. Put more chartreuse on there. Okay, so I've got red, pink here, I've got red there. I think right here, I might do kind of a yellow red with a red, with the blood red, and see what that looks like. Okay. Alrighty, and then I'm going to turn it around and come this way. Oh, I'm driving you guys crazy. Am I? Yeah, I'm in the picture. And I'm going to do a couple of these. Now remember, the reason I left a lot of white, you don't have to color in every single solitary bit of this. It's not required. The easiest thing for you to probably do is just to leave some space, and then next time you take a yellow and wash it over that, or you take a blue and wash it over that, and it'll really help you, I think, with the colors. Okay. What I'm trying to do is layer, so that's why I'm busy doing this. You know what? I'm leaning towards baby blue now. I haven't used baby blue before, but I'm dying to know what it would do right here. I kind of like that. Add a little red to it. Oops, now it's too thick there. You're going to pull it down. And then you just use your finger or a Q-tip. Probably a Q-tip is a better choice. Or I can just use another brush that's been cleaned and pull off that color whenever you do something like that. So that one's blue. So, like I said, I'm just using whatever colors I like. You don't have to like these colors. You don't even have to use these colors. You can use whatever you need. And then every once in a while, I'm going back and just adding a true blood red one in, just to get back to basics on this. Nope, I need more blood red. So it's still the same thing. You pull from one. Oh, jeez, oh, Pete's. Here we go. Okay, you pull from one side, then you stop in the middle, make the center, pull from the other side, flip it around. There's nothing hard about this. It's just a bunch of leaves. It's a good study for beginners to learn how to do these leaves. And it's also a great study to help you understand how colors mix. If you're afraid of mixing the colors, let me just smooth this a little bit. If you're afraid of mixing the colors, what I would say is put one color on, fire it, and then put the other color on. You can do that too, but that's an extra fire, and you know how reds are. They'll fire out a little bit, so you may want to step back and try painting the color on and then painting the other color on. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a royal purple now. I'm going to put it here, here, to the center. Then I'm going to come down here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to come down here and come across. Oops. Come on, Ann, get the right color there. Okay. Then I'm going to do the edge. And I'm going to do the tip. Okay? Now this is going to disappear over here if I don't put something there, because don't forget, this is just drawn on. And you want to be able to see it later on. Okay, now I'm taking my red and I'm just going through and adding a little red, because ultimately this is a red poinsettia. And sometimes just adding a little red to the tip, like this, is all you need on the next coat. This is moss green and chartreuse, and I'm just doing, it's way too dark. Hang on, let's pull it out here. When you get it too dark, see how dark it is here? Keep wiping on your towel. Can you see my towel there? Yeah, I think you can. And then pull the color over and wipe and pull again. You'll eventually get it light enough, and then you get these little streaks. See these little guys there? Pull it, feather it this way, and it'll take care of itself. I do that a lot where I get too much color on because I get carried away, and then I have to do something to correct it. Okay, and then I always put a little color on this side because I don't want to lose that. But I won't, because I'm going to do the background on this. Okay, so I have 3 more to do. I'm going to do them really quickly here. Let's see, let's do a purple. Do a royal purple here. Try to alternate the colors. Try to make them interesting. That's the hardest thing, I think, with this, because right now it doesn't look like much. It looks like I'm just putting a ton of colors on. But if you look on the color wheel, the reds and the purples are next to each other. And I don't know if that's why they work, probably. But that's part of the color wheel. And then the blues and the purples are next to each other. So, if you kind of stick with the guys that are next to each other, I think you'll do fine. I'm doing a purple here. Let me just smooth this because I don't want it to be all yucky. Okay, this guy I need to make a different color. There are too many purples over here, so I might, let's do this guy over here. Do a yellow and a yellow red. Why not? Right here. Oh, I think I'll just stick with the yellow red. We don't need a lot of yellow on there. I have to remember to hold it up. I'm trying to look at the plate and I'm trying to look at the screen and get everything in so that you guys can see it. Yeah, it does fire out a little bit. That's part of the problem with China painting. It always fires out just a little bit. This one's going to be green, and this one here, I don't know, let's see. How about a red grape? Let's try red grape. Ooh, I like that. Plus the red grape goes on great. You know, there's some colors that just go on fabulous. And that's one of them, boy, I'll tell you. That red grape. A little too dark. And we'll just chick chick. And we're going to quickly do this leaf over here and just get it out of the way. And then I'm going to show you with the background. The background's going to be hard because you're going to have to go around your, I did the two greens and I mixed in a little red grape here because I want to echo it somewhere else. Probably should echo it 3 different places, but ain't going to happen because we've already done most of it. But at least a little bit of color there will help. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can see. I'm really trying to hold it up. I think I set my camera a little too high this time, and it's just a tad high. Okay, and then I'm going to go out here and put the green on the end. Oh, that moss green just loads too heavy, I think. Okay. All right. So that's one done, and you can do the same with any of the others. Oops. You know what? That's supposed to be it has a line in it. It was supposed to be a leaf, and I made it a part of the poinsettia, but doesn't matter. Okay, still have to do the berries in the middle. I have a little number 1 brush. This is, or number 2 brush. This is, whose is this? Jane Houston. Oh my God, I love these brushes. This brush is the best brush. And I'm just going to take chartreuse and do these little guys in the middle. Do little circles. Here, let me come real close so you can see. And I need a little more over here. I'll do one here. And I'll do one up here. Yep, don't have enough green on. I know it looks like the green's gonna kind of gunk on there, and it might. But then I'm gonna take my my Paintnporcelain, if I can find it. Yep, here it is. And I'm just going to kind of help these little guys out around the edges here. You have to wipe every time you get paint on your Paintnporcelain or it won't do what you want it to do. There we go. I might even make one down here for later. Okay, that's all I'm doing with those now. I'll put the dark in around them next time. Okay, let me get the brushes out of the way here. We're going to use a big brush for the background. And I mean a big brush. This is my 3/4 inch brush. Now, I told you, my teacher always told me use the biggest brush you can, and I really do. So it doesn't even fit in my oil jar very well. But this is a scarf, and or scarf, I don't know how you say, S-C-H-A-R-F-F. And I'm just going to start and put the color in. I'm using Paula White's Tahiti, but you could use baby blue and get the same effect. And I'm just putting it very gently behind these, like that. And if you use a big brush, you're going to get smoother strokes, theoretically. It never always, comes out that way, but 90% of the time I find I do. Now, you notice I'm picking up some of the color from the poinsettias. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's going to make it beautiful in the long run. And then I just start pulling this out. Now, as I get closer to the leaves and things up here, I'm going to go into a violet like this. Get my color on here. Royal violet. And I'm going to do that up in this area here. So I'm just showing you where I'm putting the colors right now. And then I will pull it out to the edge. Now, I'm showing you this now, but don't do it now. What I ended up doing with the other, I didn't do the edge on everything, because I got my hand in it all the time, trying to go around and move it. So I would recommend that you come, if you're going to start the purple here, that's great. Do your purple up to a point, or leave your purple till last, and that way you won't get your hand in it. But the reason I showed you now was so you could see that that's a problem. It can be a real problem. Now on my bowl in the middle, I did blue-black because I wanted the idea that it was deep in the middle, and the blue-black kind of had more of a shading to it. And you mix the colors. As you get them closer together, there has to be a spot where they cross over. So you're going to have to mix these colors. So I used blue-black down here. And of course, I love blue-black. I'll never have enough of it. Yeah, I always work on two pieces so that we have one that I can show you that give you an idea of where we're going, and I have one that that will then help you see how I did it by working on it. Now I'm using, it's called Cool Green. You probably have a green, I don't know, a green blue or something like that. I think it's kind of like a Russian green, to tell you the truth. But you don't have to use these colors. You know, whatever you've got. I would use baby blue. Here, I'll show you baby blue. For those of you that are working with a beginner's palette, this is baby blue. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? That works out too. You can mix the baby blue in. You can mix that in. The further back you hold your brush, but you have to be careful because you're really close to these flowers, the smoother you will get, and like I said, the smoother it will paint. The other thing is you can paint right over whatever's near it. So if this is a leaf here, I'm just going to paint over it. And then when I paint the leaf, I'll just let that color go right into the leaf. See, like that. So it doesn't matter. It's a little bit like watercolor. So I'm not going to do up in here because I'll end up getting my hand in it. But that gives you an idea of the different colors. Try to get it as smooth as you can out. And like I said, I would normally paint all the flowers on here. Then I'd take a break because it's very hard to hold this unless you have one of those turntables. And then I would come back and do the background. But if you feather it out very carefully and very far as you can, as smoothly as you can, you should be okay if you have to leave it for a little while. And it depends on your oil. If your oil is one that stays open for a while, then you'll be fine. But not everybody stays open. So that's one of the keys to, I think, painting on this. So let me just finish this guy up here a little bit. This is a leaf, but just because it's a leaf. Now, the leaves on here, I was just going to leave plain green because I don't really want the attention to go to the side of the plate. I want it to go to the middle of the plate. But I want it to look like these are running right off the plate. So you have them all the way around there. Okie doke. So that's going to be the first fire. And next week we'll start on the second coat, which is basically just starting to deepen some of the colors. And just pick up those brushes, keep painting, and I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.